education in South Asian region. It was our pleasure to have you address our young and upcoming scholars and practitioners. Now, I would like to introduce Ambassador Akhilesh Mishra, Additional Secretary, Development Partnership Administration, Ministry of External Affairs, for his special address. Prior to this, Ambassador Mishra served as Director General at Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Before that, he was the Indian Ambassador to Maldives and Consul General of India in Toronto, Canada. Ambassador Mishra held several key positions, including Joint Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs and headed the Northern Division dealing with India's relation with Nepal as well as Bhutan. He was also Joint Secretary in charge of Multilateral Economic Relations Division Deputy Chief of Mission in Kabul, Afghanistan, and served in different capacities in Indian embassies. I cordially invite him to share his thoughts on the role of higher education and capacity building in India's development partnership with its neighboring countries.
Namaskar. Honorable Minister Dr. Ibrahim Hassan. Assalamu alaikum. Malek Fano, Badalvitu Varan Fakaran. For me, it is a great honor and great privilege. Assalamu alaikum, Malek Fano. Badalvitu Varan Bado Fakaran. It is a great honor and great privilege to see you and listen to your very inspiring words. As someone who has very fresh, very warm memories of your beautiful country, let me begin by sharing some basic thoughts on my experience in Maldives for the benefit of people who are connected with this program. Dear friends, first of all, I must thank South Asian University and Bridge Project for hosting this very interesting initiative, and also inviting our great friend Dr. Ibrahim Hassanji to inaugurate this program. Friends, we all know how beautiful Maldives is in terms of its natural beauty, and we all have experienced the generosity and hospitality of the people of Maldives. But for me, as India's ambassador, High Commissioner in Maldives, who had a lot of opportunity to study and observe Maldives, I think we all have a lot to learn from the creativity and ingenuity and innovative spirit of the people of Maldives. In India, we have a very dynamic visionary leadership of Prime Minister Modi, who has been exhorting us even during the Corona pandemic period to convert crisis into opportunities, new opportunities through use of innovation. And I feel that Maldives already has been a glorious example of how indomitable challenges can be converted into opportunities. Not many people remember that in the 70s, many international experts had practically ruled out the possibility of development of tourism sector. Given that Maldives geography, it has 1,200 islands, small islands, isolated islands, and logistical issues are very, very daunting. But I must salute the vision and the creativity, innovativeness of the Maldivian people, who have actually converted those very challenges into their greatest assets, their unique selling points for branding. And also, they have created the concept of one island, one resort, and they are giving the highest standard of services in tourism sector. And also, in education sector itself, the development of tourism education program in Maldives is something that we must look at very carefully, and we must imbibe the lessons from Maldives. And in education of tourism, you will be happy to know that Maldives has tourism curriculum starting from the school level till the university level. Secondly, friends, I'm also very, very impressed by the Maldives' ability to deliver services. Maldives has 1,200 islands, out of which about 200 are inhabited. And some of them are very, very difficult to access, and they do not have the population density to sustain tertiary facilities, but Maldives has done a remarkable job in delivering services, including higher education. And I must salute the leadership of President Solih and his team. The way you have responded to the unprecedented challenges of COVID is very, very inspiring. And also the way Maldivian people have used the telecom and digital solutions in a very, very like dispersed population, the connectivity, the internet quality has been very impressive, and the use of digital solutions and innovations have been very, very effectively used to cope with their unique challenges, and including the minimizing of disruption caused by the corona pandemic. I have been following Maldives very closely, and it's a very, very heartening experience. Also, one thing in education I want to flag is that Maldivian students have, and also the leadership has been focusing on providing international exposure to their students. And as High Commissioner, I was very happy to see that even school going children, 10th graders and 12th graders, they are going abroad for study tours. And university education, many delegations, I was very happy to facilitate their visit to India, and now they go to many other countries as well. Also, one aspect I want to flag is their pride of their own language, Divehi. It took in India someone like Prime Minister Modi, after 7 decades of our independence, to have an education policy which actually attaches the due importance and gives the due priority to the Indian languages in education. And I salute the pride, the dignity with which everyone in Maldives learns and speaks Divehi. In India, friends, and also in Maldives, and in fact the whole of South Asia, we have currently a very significant demographic advantage. We all have young population, and we have a expanding number of people in the working age group segment. And this is very significant because this is a time when the entire development, the US, Canada, entire Europe, Russia, Japan, China, all of them are facing the prospect of shrinking labor force and growing dependency ratio. And that is why I feel this seminar, this webinar on higher education is very, very important for all of us in the region. Because young, energetic, creative population is a tremendous historic opportunity for all of us. But also it can become a crisis if suitable employment opportunities are not created to harness the enormous creative and productive potential of our youth. An appropriate skill development and relevant kind of education is going to be the critical issue for all governments in the region and the policy makers of South Asia. In India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, we are working in a mission mode, both in expansion of educational infrastructure as well as the profound restructuring and reorientation of the content to make our capable youth even more competitive, more multidisciplinary in skills, and adaptable for the fast evolving nature of jobs scenario. Education must inculcate the real life market oriented skills which are important for our contemporary society. In the past 6 years under Prime Minister Modi, the number of IITs, Indian Institutes of Technology, has increased from 16 to 23. Number of IIMs, Institutions of Management, has increased from 13 to 20. AIMS in medical sciences from 7 to 15. Total number of colleges has increased to about 40,000 and universities to about 1,000. About 37.4 million students are enrolled in universities with enrollment ratio about 26.3%. Our target is to have 50% university enrollment ratio by 2030. That clearly shows that despite the tremendous progress India has made, there's a huge amount of work still to be done. Even now, we have about 1.1 million Indian students studying in higher education institutions abroad. This results in outflow of more than $5 billion every year. And in the corona period, we have seen that we have to be innovative, we have to be flexible and think creatively. And as Honorable Minister Dr. Hassan mentioned, there is great importance in innovating the digital learning solutions. And they seem to be today a very feasible, very cost-effective option. And in India, I'm very happy to share that Prasar Bharati has launched 51 DTH TV channels which are exclusively focused on education. Similarly, Honorable Prime Minister's PM e-Vidya scheme is a comprehensive initiative to enable multi-mode access of education through digital, online, on-air platforms, benefiting more than 250 million school-going children in India. And also the top 100 universities have been encouraged and mandated to start many online courses, and their online content will grow from 20% today to about 40%. Similarly, another area I wish to share is the thrust on traditional knowledge like Ayurveda and yoga as part of education content. This is very important for our cost-effective and sustainable holistic healthcare and wellness. I'm sharing these because our experience, India's experience, could be relevant to many of our friendly partner countries in South Asia. And we would be open to sharing our experience, and anything which is of interest to our friends, we will be happy to work together. We are already under India's development assistance, the partnership. We attach very high priority to capacity building and education. Under India's iTech program, we are offering every year about 14,000 scholarships for short-term specialized technical training programs. For university level education, both online and in person, we are offering about 9,500 scholarships every year. And also in case of in terms of creation of physical infrastructure education, more than 50 centers of excellence in IT, similar agriculture institutions and institutions of higher learning in many countries. And also in India, the South Asia University and Nalanda University, and the vision of Prime Minister Modi in launching International Solar Alliance and CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilience Infrastructure. These are also primarily, very largely focused on capacity building and sharing of technical expertise. Friends, as India becomes Atmanirbhar, self-reliant in higher education, and we have enough facilities to take care of our own growing demand, and we do hope that we would be able to offer more opportunities to our development partners in the spirit of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. And as Honorable Minister Dr. Hassan mentioned, we sincerely believe in the motto of neighborhood first, and neighborhood will always remain our highest priority. Friends, when we talk about higher education, we all focus on students. As a former teacher myself, I know that no institution can be built without bright, capable, motivated teachers. Teaching is not a transactional dealing that I pay you money and you give me knowledge. There is a commitment, there is a passion, there is a dignity to the the teaching profession. The society as a whole needs to focus more on building the teachers community and give them the respect, the profile and professionalism to the teachers. I think as governments in South Asia, we have to work together more closely in the right skilling and motivation and pedagogy for our teachers. With these words, I will once again thank the organizers for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to see, at least virtually, my very great, very honored friend, Dr. Hassan. And through you, Dr. Hassan, I wish to convey my very warm greetings and salam to all friends in Maldives. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum.